Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. So we're getting ready to do our English language arts. And so we've been reading a story about Kate. Kate visit Nan, we did the campsite, we did the hike. So before I go on to the other story, I really want to just do a review because I want to make sure that we completely understand what's going on in the stories. So what I did was I highlighted some points. So in case somebody asks you, you can always say, well, look, this is what happened with Kate Business Nan. Kate mom and dad dropped her off by Nan in the summer, which is Nan is her grandmother. Nan lives in the West. Nan and Kate received an offer from Jake to go camping. Jake is Max's granddad. Max is 9 years old like Kate. Kate said things that they would do on a camping trip was like hike, look at rocks, cook lunch and dinner outside, look at the stars, sleep in a tent. But then I also showed you all a slide that shows you where the West is on the map of the United States. So I told you that this right here, this is Louisiana, this is us, this is the boot. This is why they call it the boot, because it's shaped like a boot. And so this is the West. And over here somewhere is where Kate is. They just said she was in the West. It didn't say specifically where. So she's in one of these places over here. So then we read the campsite. So the campsite, to sum it up, I pulled out some points. Jake came pick Kate and Nan up in his Jeep. The campsite was called the Badlands, and I also highlighted campsite because that's also one of our spelling words. But then I also did legend. So legend has it that farmers were looking for land to grow crops, but all they found were rocks, sand, and stone. Bad land was good for camping, but it was bad for farming. Max and Kate set up the tents. They ate hot dogs for dinner. Kate hot dog got all black because she left it in the fire too long. Max gave Kate one of his hot dogs. Kate said that the Max kid, he was okay because he gave her one of his hot dogs. So that was real nice of him. And so all this is just summing this up. And if you ask me, Mr. Alexis, where did you get that from? I've got it right from my text. I didn't have to go anywhere to look for it. It was in the campsite. This is just points. And guess what I did? I put it in sequence order. So this is what happened first, this is second, this is third, and so on and so on. If you notice, I didn't put first, oh, Kate said the Max kid was okay, because that wasn't how that went. That wasn't how that went. That didn't go like that. So I did it in sequence order. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Then, here are your vocabulary words. So, with your vocabulary words, each story had words. So I know with 3 of these words you actually haven't had yet, which is cliff, bone, and expert. So I know we've had the rest of them. So offer, cabin, campsite, legend, cliff, bone, expert, summer, granddad, log, tent, and farming. So that was our vocabulary words. Then we had our spelling words. But not only did we do that, we sorry. So okay, so there we go. So we had so what I did was a process of elimination. I kind of showed you guys how to do that. You could have done your three letter words first and kind of scratched off as you went. But then this also gave you a little experience with how to spell your words. How to spell your words, because you need to know how to spell these words without looking at them. So if I gave you the word lug, you should be able to tell me without looking at your paper that it's L-U-G. Lug, L-U-G. I told you that they had the lug. The story said that they had the luggage, their camping equipment up to the cabin. That means that they had to carry it. That's what the word lug means in this particular sense. But then there's also, some words have different meanings. Like the word lug for a vehicle in a car means like your lug nuts, the studs on your car, lug. So if you look at your tires, you see that there's a lug on there. See, they have different meanings. So we had to do that. Then we also had spelling words. So now, here we go. I told you we did cliff, which is a high steep surface of rock. All this was in the story for the hike. The example was she stayed away from the cliff, the edge of the cliff, and I also explained to you that, and I gave you a visual because I wanted you to see what it was about. So you can kind of visual in your mind, okay, but the story says they went on a cliff or they was at the cliff. Now I know what a cliff is because Miss Alexis showed us a picture. So here's the cliff. I also told you that this is dangerous. So you need to be with an expert, meaning somebody who specializes in climbing cliffs, who has not, had any accidents from being on a cliff. Because I also told you that this is a whole lot of water down here to drink. That's dangerous. So you need to be with an adult, someone who knows what they're doing. Then our next word was bone, the hard parts inside of a person or animal. Example, the horse tripped and broke his bone. And we all have bones. We have bones in our fingers, our legs, our arms. In general, if you break a bone, you have to let it heal. It takes time. Sometimes you have to put a cast on your arm or your leg, so the bone. So then, expert. I told you that this was an expert right here. So he's studying possibly why the volcano exploded the way that it did. So it says that an expert, someone who knows a lot about specific things. Example, a volcanologist is an expert on volcanoes. So I know this is a long word. I get it. So we're going to syllable it out. This goes over here. This volcanologist is an expert on volcanoes. And I also give you this YouTube link so that you can see, you can hear how to pronounce it and that you can practice yourself. But then I also gave you a visual of a volcano, and it's actually exploding. So a volcanologist who studied volcanoes probably studied why volcanoes explode the way that they do, with all this stuff coming out of it, and when it explodes, what happened, what caused it to do it. They probably write books about it. You have different people who are experts. You have some sports commentators, I told you, that are experts, that can tell you everything about sports, that can give you every statistics, that this is what they study, that this is what they do. Some people just experts like that. So you have doctors who are experts, who specialize in just one particular thing of medicine. Some do the bone, some do study the blood, just one particular area. But they're an expert at it. They probably wrote books about it. They went to school for it. They studied. They got their masters. They got their doctrines. They did all this. So that's when we read about the hike. So we read about the hike. They stopped for lunch. Sorry. Okay, so this is a slide I was trying to get to. So when we read about the hike, once lunch was finished, Max and Kate went looking for rocks. Max suggested that Kate bring her fork. He said we can use it to dig up rocks. He said Max pointed at a bump on the side of the cliff and he said, let's dig that rock out. So then he said once Max and Kate started digging, they soon saw that it was larger than they thought. Max thought it was about 2 feet long. And so Max said, we got to keep scratching. So they thought it was about 2 feet long. So he's like, wait, they still have some more dirt, but there's still some more rock under here. Once they got it out, he realized it wasn't a rock, but it was a bone. So then he realized the bone was 3 feet long. It wasn't 2 like he thought it was 3. Max and Kate went running back to Jake and Nan with the bone. Jake set the bone on the ground. Then he took a picture of it and said, we need to get an expert. Here's our word, expert, to look at this bone and tell us what sort of bone it is. So now we've done all this. So now we're to the point where they need to bring it to the bone to a bone expert. So we know an expert is someone who specializes in a particular area. This is what they study. We had questions that we had to answer about the height. So what did Kate and Max look? Sorry. What did Kate and Max want to look for? C. Kate and Max wanted to look for rocks. What did I get it? Straight from the story. From the story of the hike. I didn't have to go back to Kate visit Nan. I didn't have to go back to the campsite. No, this was in this particular story. The hike. This was in this particular story. I didn't go anywhere else. Everything that you need is in the story that you're reading. What did Kate and Max use to dig? Kate and Max used forks to dig. And also, when you did your answer, if you got the answer wrong, you could really do a process of elimination. If you go back to your text is going to tell you what it is. So when you realize, okay, Kate and Max used lanterns to dig. Nope, that's not it. Kate and Max used sticks to dig. Nope, that's not it. So it only leaves you B. So what did Max see on the side of a cliff? Max saw a rock on the side of the cliff. Where did I get it from? The story. It was in the story. What did Kate and Max do with their forks? They scratched and dug to get the rock. 5. What did Kate and Max find? Kate and Max got a bone 3 feet long. Because remember, he thought it was 2, but then come to find out it was 3. When you're doing these comprehension questions, do not, even if you think you know the answer, I challenge you to go back to the text. Because you have to annotate your text. You have to make sure that this is what it is. Go back to the text, read it again, because you want to make sure these questions are what's making you understand the comprehension of what's going on. Comprehension, you have to understand what's going on. When you're reading this story, you're trying to get a visual in your mind. Okay, if they were on a cliff, well, Miss Alexis showed me the picture of a cliff, so now I can visualize them on a cliff or on the side of a cliff. So whatever that story is, we need to be able to comprehend, to be able to do some kind of visual, meaning picture in our mind of what's going on. But then when they say 3 feet long, I also showed you what a ruler is. And this is just 12 inches, which is 1 foot. So actually, this bone that they had was 3 of these put together. So this was pretty long. So this was a pretty long bone. So I wanted you to be able to see that. So, down the bone. So what's going to happen is, because I know I'm going to run out of time, and I don't want to do that. So this was our review. So we're getting ready to go to the next story. I'm going to do a separate video for that to say, but I want you all to be able to understand what's going on thus far. Make sure that you have your answers correct, your comprehension questions. Okay, get ready for the next video, and I'll be right back.